The neutral is here. Oh my goodness, nah, Corey said fuck that! Give it the ball. Oh no!
Ooh, that's another win. Look at this damage!
How's that for a little bit of an opening? What's good, everybody? It's Shaolin Pretzels here, and welcome to Dragon Punch Online number 41, the first Dragon Punch Online of the new year. So we got quite a bit of a show for you guys, but I think it goes without saying, it's a new year. We might have some new people. If that trailer didn't show you what we're all about, then let me tell you right here. So Dragon Punch Online is the Ohio FGC's premier online fighting game tournament series. This week, for our special lineup, we have King of Fighters 2002, Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Street Fighter V, Tekken 7, and Killer Instinct. You are watching the host channel for the Street Fighter V bracket, good old twitch.tv/Shaolin Pretzels. To give you guys a little bit of a sense as to what's been going on in the Ohio FGC over the past year of online competition, I'm here to give you guys a little bit of a pre-show for some of the things that have been going on in our glorious community. So let's start out with a couple of facts. So since we've started doing Dragon Punch Online at the onset of quarantine, we have had over 90 plus unique entrants enter our tournament. I believe as of my last checking in, not including tonight, I believe we had about 94 unique entrants, which, looking at the bracket as they are now, that might actually be brought up to 95 now. So, and among the people who have entered Dragon Punch, there's one man who has entered so many times that he's become pretty much a household name at this point. Good old Green Ranger 64. Y'all know him. Y'all love him. He's got a copy pasted in the chat. And he is the man, the myth, the legend that y'all always look forward to. We also have to make room for a little bit of a shout out for the player with the most stream appearances, which would be our own resident TO, Mr. Corejam. I swear to God, it's not rigged. He just tends to win a lot. It just happens. You get top 4 in enough tournaments. You get enough appearances on stream. It's just the way how it is. But it's not enough to just get top 4. Sometimes you gotta win. And among our winners over the past 40 tournaments, we've had an astounding 9 individual champions. So I just want you to sit on that for a moment. We have hosted 40 tournaments and have only had 9 unique champions. Among those champions, we have none other than Akron's own Corejam and Crosscut, Columbus's own Setman, Hitman, and J-Money, Cincy's own Ultimate Vitality, Toledo's own Mr. Mustaflis, Cleveland's own THCB, and Cincy's own Hornet. And among these different champions, we've had a couple of different characters represented. Core Jam representing the signature Laura and Ed. He does play Seth, but he hasn't won a tournament solely with Seth, or at least he hasn't put Seth on this placement in the top 4 graphics, which I'll show in just a moment. Setman taking it with Birdie, Hitman taking it with Bison, J-Money taking it with Vega, Crosscut pulling out the Ken for a very interesting DPO. I definitely think you guys should have a look back at that. DPO 38, I believe. Mr. Mustaflis coming out with the Akuma, THCB with the Sakura, a lot of Shotos here. Ultimate Vitality with the Jury, and Hornet with the Colleen. Among his many different characters, he decided to actually win one with Colleen. So looking at our win percentages here, we have 9 champions, but the caveat that needs to be made here is that 2 of these guys have won a significant portion of these events. It's actually kind of stupid how much they've been winning. All they do is win. But among our champions, our own Hitman and Core Jam tend to round it out with the most wins, both in terms of, like, it really just doesn't matter. Like, if you see either one of these 2 in a bracket, there's a pretty good chance that they're probably gonna end up taking it. Pretty good chance. And as you can see on these charts shown here, Columbus has taken a significant portion of the DPO since we've actually run them. Columbus, with their champions combined, they have won half of the Dragon Punch Onlines we've hosted since last March. Now Akron slowly trying to pull its way back into getting that 50% share. We got Core Jam, we got Crosscut. Combined together, I believe they have like 16 wins. So still like 4 behind, but we're getting there. We also got Cincy rounding it out with 2 champions as well. Resident Ultimate Vitality and good old Hornet. At this point in time, there's only like 2 cities left, like 2 major cities left in Ohio that have yet to have multiple champions, and those are Cleveland and Toledo. So we'll see how things turn out today, and let's hope for the best. And I suppose it's to no surprise that the individual player with the most wins and the most top 4 appearances of anyone in Dragon Punch is none other than Mr. Well, I have to play Hitman. There used to be different men here. And Core Jam says fake news, but I looked at the numbers. Hitman has 1 more than you whenever it comes to top 4s. Just 1 more. It's literally a 1 entry difference. Listen, I was shocked just as much as you were whenever I did this. So much pain. So much pain. And of course, we should also bring special attention to a bunch of the people who have gotten top 4s in some of our more recent Dragon Punch Online tournaments. So you can kind of see those names as we slowly scroll through here. A couple of regulars, a couple former champions, a couple of pending champions. Some of the names that you'll see here are names that you should expect to see a lot over the course of 2021. These people are going to put in work. They're going to be threats. They are the people you need to be afraid of whenever you enter these brackets. If you think you want to go for the top, you gotta get past these guys first. And of course, you can already see from these top 4 graphics, we have a bunch of characters represented here in our tournaments, but you could really just only get like a glimpse of that just by looking at these individual charts back to back and not looking at the entire roster at once. So we got the entire roster all at once. So among the characters that have won DPOs, we've had a Bison, we've had a Vega, a Ken, a Colleen, a Sakura, a Birdie, Ed, Akuma, Jury, and Laura. Really no big surprises there. The Illuminati brothers like sticking it out in 3rd is a notable. It's one thing of note that I always find to be really funny whenever I look at this particular graphic. A couple other notable things is that among the characters that haven't placed in the top 4, we have a couple of players who represent those characters, or at least play them to some capacity. Whenever it comes to the Blanca, we have good old Majin Chancho, Rising Star, Royal X Flame coming out with the Cody, but we also have a Keston is there who also reps Fong as well. We got newcomers, Crackers and Lunar coming in with Cammy and Chun-Li respectively, so they might be taking some names later on over the course of this year. Also, a couple more notables for Chun-Li. We got Tiger Zord, we got Matchstick Melee, we got 2 Sweets also putting in some reps with the character. Guile, there's a chance we could possibly see Guile in the limelight if Crosscut pulls out his. Necalli. If we see the return of Necrocalli's Necalli or THCB's Necalli, which I highly doubt will happen, then maybe Necalli could get somewhere up in the limelight. We got a singular Mika rep, at least amongst our higher level players in Kenstar. We got a few Rashids amongst like Rashids, but you know, they're Rashids. But now we got Chrono, who has entered our brackets a couple times before, and not many of our like Ohio Rashid players have actually entered our brackets, but among those that have entered, Chrono's the only one. So who knows? Maybe he'll come out a little bit more. And at the very least, amongst the players that we've had enter DPO in the past that play these characters, those are the ones you should probably keep an eye out for. No one invite the Rashid players. Corey, please. Well, let's have a look at some of the attendee rankings. So, an interesting note about one of our later DPOs, DPO 37. If I could just go back to that thing, whatever. Dragon Punch 37 was the highest amount of entrants we've ever had in a single Dragon Punch, rounding it out at a good old 18 entrants. As you look across this particular graphic, you can kind of see that we very clearly average around 12 entrants. So tonight is an average night in entry as far as all things are concerned. But on this graphic, you can see a number of different things. The main thing, of course, being each of our tournaments ranked by how many entrants we've had, which of these tournaments have we achieved a first-time champion. So for the people who have won multiple times, cough, cough, Hitman, cough, cough, Core Jam, you can see if they have won their first DPO amongst like this current set of DPOs that are being shown on screen right now. So just a little bit of a history, a little bit of a look back. Setman winning one of the now second place DPO in terms of like number of entrants. The only DPO that we've ever had like a money prize pool for. Still surprised we were able to beat that without a prize pool though. So it's always a nice little thing to see. You love to see it. You love to see it. And of course, amongst the people who have entered DPO a very large portion of them have entered multiple times. So roughly 60% of people who have entered DPO once have entered DPO again and again and again. So obviously we're doing good enough of a job that people decide to come back and keep playing. So feels good, man. We're doing good stuff here. Ohio, we're doing good things. And among those people who have entered, about 75% of them have gotten on stream. We've actually gotten a little bit better at this since the last time that we did this pre-show. It used to be that this stat was like a little bit more towards like every like 2/3 of entrants would usually get to be on stream, but now we're starting to show like a greater share of players now. So the chances are, like, if you enter Dragon Punch Online and if you just keep playing, you'll get your time in the spotlight. And we always like to highlight any like new players that are making waves through the bracket. So it's always an interesting thing to see. As far as city representation goes, this is just as of last DPO 40. A very even spread amongst like some of the Ohio cities. A lot of relative unknowns. Now, amongst some of the unknowns, we know that a bunch of people in our brackets are from Ohio. Specifications on which cities, though, remains to be determined. Pretty large representation amongst the Clevelanders and the Akron players. Toledo and Columbus tied in terms of representation, and Cincy still rounding it out towards the bottom of the major cities. Cincy, step it up. Looking at the number of times that a particular city has had entrance in DPO, Cleveland topping it out at the very top. The best there is. I can't make too many jokes at their expense anymore because now they actually have a champion. They have a singular champion. But again, amongst some of the major cities, Cleveland topping it out, first place in terms of like the number of times that they've had like people enter. Akron coming in at second, and Toledo actually beating Columbus in recent weeks. They've been coming out in notable waves, trying to overtake this one city that's won half of the events. And again, Cincy rounding out towards the lower end in terms of like the big cities. In terms of times that the number of cities been in top 4, it's a slightly different story. Among the cities that have been represented in top 4s for Dragon Punch, Cleveland has a very dominant showing. Now, one thing that should really be stated here is that Cleveland's had a bunch of individuals get to top 4. If you look at Akron's spot, most of those are from one person. Most of these top 4s in the Akron column are just from one guy. Shout outs to Core Jam. But you can see, as I mentioned before, just barely edging it out over Akron is Columbus. Columbus is actually second place right here in terms of the number of times that they've been in a top 4. I'm actually looking at this in retrospect. I'm actually kind of surprised that that Toledo was able to like catch up as much as they have been. I know that they've been like very consistently getting people in like 3rd and 4th place, but man, look at how close that Columbus, Akron, and Toledo are. That is a sight to behold. Still very far behind Cleveland, but man, that fight for number 2. It's about to be pretty close over the course of this coming year. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, Grand Finals representation. I don't even think this really even needs to be said. Columbus has won 50% of DPOs that we've ever run, so it makes sense that they are at the number 1 position in terms of the number of times that their city has been represented in a Grand Finals. Akron coming up just behind them in the number 2 slot, and Cleveland is rounding it out in 3rd place, even though they only have one champion. Feels bad, man. And among the many things that have happened in grand finals, there have been a numerous number of bracket resets. And Hitman continues to be like the one person who like not only is able to like achieve a bracket reset, but whenever he does achieve a reset, he always wins. Like, you can just see from like that tallest column here, there has not been a time that Hitman has like there's very few times that Hitman is able to achieve a victory after a bracket reset. It's beautiful.